Uncanny X-Men 273 is really special. They had 9 artists work on this one issue alone, and they didn't note which pages were done by who. This was obviously Will Sportacio with the small head, big neck, and nobody does graceful flying better than Rick Leonardi. The classic Marc Silvestri faces. But these pages, which were my favorite actually in the book, were kind of a mystery. It almost feels like it's a mix of artists who worked on this, because some of it feels like Silvestri, some of it Jim Lee. But this face here is very manga somehow, and nobody was doing that at the time. Here obviously classic Jim Lee and Scott Williams, and nobody does chins like Larry Stroman. But for today I want to compare Silvestri and Lee, first with examples from the issue. Yeah, you see Silvestri's proportions are pretty accurate, just exaggerating the curves a bit with the extra narrow hips and those 1980s wide shoulders, but the crotch is in the middle like in real life, and breasts also exactly at the right height, and head exactly 1/8. Jim Lee went a bit manga though, even though there are women with very long legs. Pretty sure there are none whose body is 3/4 legs. Looks cool though. Head a bit smaller than in real life, and breasts very high and kind of far apart. Alright, so I have the framework for both. Let's draw Elektra in the same pose, so gotta change the arms. I feel like Jim Lee's style was pretty consistent his whole career, but for Silvestri there's 3 phases. Early Silvestri, which is his Uncanny X-Men style, more of a focus on storytelling and emotions in the poses, and basically realistic. Mid-Silvestri is in his Wolverine run, where his style starts looking more mainstream, with those classic poses that Jim Lee perfected. And then of course the Image era, where that's even more obvious, to the extent that some people couldn't even keep Silvestri and Lee apart. But I also feel kind of that Mike Turner influence in this series here. Super tight pencils with tons of small lines. But it's no secret that I prefer the earliest style. Check my How to Draw Like a Young Silvestri video for that. By the way, you might be wondering what's going on with this long bent foot here, but it makes sense if you think it's a foot in high heels. So that's where that foot would fit. Except that she's not really wearing high heels, so never mind. I'm choosing early Silvestri here for the inking, so openings between the lines and some very thick parts, like here on the leg. I know the inker is doing that. If you give the inker loose pencils, I think that's how that style starts, so still Silvestri's choice, I think. Alright, Jim Lee's turn. Besides the body proportions, the other biggest difference is the shadow hatching, the style where you cannot rush or it'll look crap. This pose wasn't working because the whole emotion is so different, and then it wouldn't be a good comparison. So I remembered Jim Lee did the exact same hands in the hip pose, so redo. And fast forward to the result. Yeah, fun to see them side by side like this. Drawing female upper arms is tricky because you don't want to make the arms too muscular or have triceps popping out. And that curve of the underarm really makes or breaks an arm. How do you guys feel about the Silvestri-Lee connection? And is there maybe another rivalry like this in the business? Thanks for watching. Check out this clip where I fan out even more about early Silvestri, or this clip where I do hands in the style of all the Image crew. Drop a like if you enjoyed this one, and catch you next time.